Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. My channel is about marriage to a woman from the Philippines. I want to talk about love language and learning to speak your Filipina's love language today. And this will take me a couple of parts to do. I married a Filipina back in 2015, and one of the things that will be very helpful to you is to learn to love and treat the Filipina the way she needs to be treated to feel loved. So what would be your Filipina's love language? This should become clearer after marriage. You may not need to learn Tagalog or Bisaya, but each of us has a natural love language. And, our spouse may not have the same one. She may know a few words, so to speak, about your love language, but won't be as fluent as you are. You already have cultural differences that you will need to be familiar with and try to understand. And her love language isn't likely to match yours. Please subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea for videos like this to really help you have a lasting marriage to any woman. Be prepared to leave a comment today. The 5 love languages, you've maybe heard of that. It's from a book by Gary Chapman way back in 1992, where he says we all have a primary and a secondary love language. It's only natural to try to meet her needs in a way that you want your own needs met, right? That's familiar. And all of these 5 categories are good, but she will find one that resonates with her more, and so will you. It is important that you know what her love language is. She can probably tell you from this list without a quiz, but a quiz can help her, see it clearly. Now let's talk about 2 or 3 in this video before I'm out of time. I apologize for the cold that just started when I hit play. Words of affirmation. Words of affirmation. Using words to build up the other person. Appreciation. And this just happens to be mine. It was before marriage and hasn't changed since being married. For example, when I was working, if I didn't hear from a supervisor all year, that was fine, as long as they said during the evaluation that they were pleased with my performance. That's what I want. I didn't want awards, gift certificates, or trophies. Acts of kindness are appreciated, but aren't necessarily needed for me to feel satisfied in my marriage or work. I wanted to hear that I was doing a good job. I've told my Filipino wife I need her to appreciate the things I do for her and how I treat her. And yes, it's okay, to say that. I was tacitly letting her know that I wanted her to tell me that I am good to her and that she appreciates me, that I needed to hear that. Having married her, I know by now that she understands this is a crucial component of her love to me. It's one thing for your spouse to try to love you in a way she thinks you need, but another to be loved the way you need it. And this is important to talk about during your marriage. It's okay to express that you value her positive feedback and tell you she appreciates all you do for her. Otherwise, if you don't, she just may assume that you already know that, but you need to hear it. Since this is a strong love language of mine, I can't quite understand it not being of the same importance to my wife or anyone else. But that may not be the case. Because of that, I enjoy telling my wife how much she means to me and how much I appreciate all the things that she does. I don't do this in order to earn her kind words because I need to hear them, rather because I genuinely do appreciate her. I value her very much. Frankly, it is difficult to know if this is important to her because she isn't likely to, tell me to cut down on my compliments, because most people appreciate hearing that. If this is your Filipina's primary love language, how do you learn it? It's not as hard as teaching an old dog new tricks. Give her compliments on anything, no matter how big or small. You'll just need to be sure you are sincere. And even if you're not used to doing this, don't worry if she thinks you're up to something. Just tell her that you are noticing so many ways that you appreciate her. And let's talk about gifts. And that's the last one I'll have time for today. Gifts. Now, this one isn't very important to me. And when my wife first said that she liked receiving gifts, I felt a little ill. I was concerned I would have to go through the motions of, buying her some gifts, feeling like I was just faking it, since it was not something that I needed. It wasn't my love language. I had in mind big, expensive gifts, but that isn't necessarily what she wants or needs. She works full time, and we both help her family. I think my wife might prefer to give a gift to her family because she can meet needs and makes her feel good. It may be that by me helping her family as well, that she sees this gift giving as a gift to her because it is helping the people most important to her. They were in her life for 26 years before we got married, and it would be unreasonable for me to think that I could compete with her family on an emotional level. That's just common sense. So I don't worry about that. I may prefer to do public speaking more than looking for some kind of trinket for my wife. She has told me at times not to buy roses or flowers for her because they're expensive and they don't last long. I think her family back in the Philippines is who she wants gifts for more than anything. However, I've noticed her here buying gifts for co-workers and even, total strangers. So gift giving and probably receiving is important to her. Once again, the topic of helping the family is central to marriage with a foreigner and a Filipina. Not being stingy, putting yourself in her shoes and trying to realize why it means so much to her is important. I believe if you love her this way, then she will love you back, probably in your own love language. Now we're going to talk about 2 or 3 more, whatever is left on this list in part 2, next on Love Beyond the Sea.